Hello everybody and welcome back to the Aussie Rules Show, hosted and brought to you by GameDay Squad. We are here this week to talk Aussie Rules. This is for round 5. We're going to preview the round that just was and then look ahead into the round that is coming up. Cal is on his high horse today because he's finally been able to knock me off. So let me give you the floor. You've been waiting this for a while, mate. How you going? Are you ready to talk some fantasy footy?
Hey mate, I'm feeling fantastic. I am excited to be here. Not only did I beat you this week, they tried to push me down even further. There's a bit of corruption going on, bit of behind the scenes stuff. People didn't want me to succeed, but I'm here. I've got the W, and I can't wait to tell you how I did it.
Fair enough. Well, guess what, Cal? We just hit 2,000 subscribers on our channel, so I want to thank everyone that's here now for helping us get there, and smash a like on the video if you've been a part of this journey so far as we quickly celebrate. But on we go to 3,000. So if you haven't already subbed to help us get there, because that's where we want to be. But the perfect season is gone, Cal. As you mentioned, my goal stays the same though, the top 10 seasonal. I've fallen out of the front page, which hurts, but Cal, you've had a fantastic week. Take us through the week that just was for you, and tell us how you got it done.
Well, before we do that, I know you like to give the highlights of the show, and I actually prepared one this week because I was feeling good. I was preparing for this one last night, so okay. I'll give you my highlight. I'll start off with that. I'm going to call a player undroppable and then drop them this week because of a matchup. Find out who that is.
Well, take it away, mate, the undroppable player. I can't wait to hear that later. But take us through your squad. How did you go? How did you do so well?
Mate, 42nd, 2,758 points. Not fantastic, but I did move up to 43rd overall. So I'm still about that 700 off the top 10, but I'm ahead of you this week. Yep. And that's what I wanted. I really needed to get that monkey off the back. So I did a bit of a mistake to start, right? So long story short, I didn't have Zorko and Gorn ready for the start of the round. So I'm on the back foot early. But you know what? Didn't matter. You knew about it. You were laughing at me. Gorn went ballistic. I couldn't believe. I swear I'd put them in, but I hadn't. I tried to call corruption. You didn't want a bar of it, but that didn't matter. The boys pulled through this week, and I want to give you the top 3 guys who did it for me. No order. Sam Flanders. How often is someone hyped up in preseason and then under-delivers? Not this guy. He is last year's Dunkley. He is hot, and he's hot for a reason. 151 points as a forward is outstanding. 25 kicks, 9 marks. He's averaging almost 125 points. Absolute star from the preseason. Next one, Jezza Cameron. Putting him in here, he didn't score as many as Flanders, but 150. Bold selection paid off. 6 goals was clutch against North. I'll continue to play key forwards if they've got a good matchup against North, because you know what? They always do. And number 1, I have to give it to this guy. My absolute star, Harry Sheasel. 185 base, 250 as my all-star. Wow. Just wow. 38 disposals, 15 marks. Not to mention a cheeky goal. Doesn't find it often, but man, he does. Do you know he's averaging 150 base now for the year as his bronze card? That is absurd. Mate. Absurd. So he capped it off. But yeah, I'm sure we can talk about that guy anyway. I'll quickly run through my bottom 3. Tom Green, 86. He's now only averaging 124, which is below where we wanted, but he's just not. He only took 2 marks the whole game. He's just not getting involved in that link-up play. Would like to see it a little bit more. Got some minor alarm bells going off for him, but lucky I only played the bronze this week. Because of the strategy and the mix-up on Thursday night, I had to change things up. He's one of the things I got right. Bont, I almost didn't play. I was so close to not playing him, but 64 as a bronze, 70 as a silver. What do we say? Hashtag Bevo out. But again, another guy that only had 1 mark all game. No marks. He didn't get a mark all game, which is crazy. He wasn't just linked up anywhere. And number 1, you're going to like this one. I told you I'm feeling myself this week. Timmy English. Is it time to start thinking about the Gordon Marshall 1-2 in the ruck? Because only 77 points, and he's dropped his score every single round since round 1. So only 6 kicks and a season-low 16 hit-outs. So I'm very keen to hear if you think the alarm bells are going off. I'll touch on him a little bit later. But yeah, they are for me.
Mate, there's your week wrapped up. Let me quickly get into the Zeus Cannons. As I mentioned, 2,700 points this week for me. And I've fallen down to 23 in the seasonal ranking. I think for the weekly ranking, I was 58 this week. So just out of the cookies for getting some packs, but we're going to look to bounce back. Let's talk about the top three that helped me get 2,700. It's Harry Sheasel with 185. As you mentioned, I have a silver of him. Fantastic. And you playing that All-Star alone won you this matchup, which I just think is crazy and just shows how good of a season he's having. He's just so fantastic. The guy...
How good of a career he's having.
Yeah, absurd. Anyway, Sam Flanders, 151, so the same as you there. And then my third one's Max Gawn in the ruck, 166 fantasy points. But my bottom three, the three people that caused me to lose this, two of them are the same as you, one is different. So I'll quickly touch. Bont, 64. Tommy Green, 86. Just not enough from two players who would normally average around the 125 mark. Not sure what's going on there. And Jordan Dawson, 74 fantasy points as my all-star. He single-handedly lost me this matchup against you at least, because normally I think he averages 160 or 150. Irrespective, if he gets one of those, I think I was 58 points short of you this week. So that would have been the difference. Jordy Dawson, what the hell, mate? Thanks for that, brother. But Cal, you're in some unfamiliar territory right now. You're going to take us through your start of the round because you've won. You get the one up this week.
I have. I got super excited about this. I didn't know how to go with it. But before I do that, Jordy Dawson playing at full forward this week. I saw that and I was like, oh, Tom's not going to be happy about this. But it was weird. And he was as a player, forget fantasy, he was pretty good down there, giving McGovern some troubles. But obviously not fantasy-friendly game playing at full forward. So that one hurts. They got the win. Are we going to be seeing it again? Is it like Callum Mills a couple of years ago when he's just a gun midfielder that all of a sudden is playing a great team role down back and it just kills him as a fantasy asset? Stay tuned for that one. To be honest,
but we're talking about down back would actually be better. But anyway, sorry, go on to your start of the round.
Yeah.
Rip in.
Down forward, not so much. Start of the round. I'm going to go left field here because I could have given it to Harry Sheasel, but I want to give it to someone else. And I'm giving it to Sammy Walsh. Why? Because he pumped out 164 points in his first game of the year. Just a quick reminder, this guy was the AFL Finals Player of the Season last year. 34 touches, 13 tackles. That's why he is an absolute star. You know my rule about not playing people in their first game back? There is no rule I have about not playing people in their second game back. So bye-bye, Bont. The question now for this guy is, do I deploy the Platinum this week? That is what I'm going to be doing. They got a tough matchup I'll touch on a little bit later, but he's going to slot straight into my squad because how could you not?
Oh, you watch that game, man. Sam Walsh. I was thinking the same thing watching it. I was like, I normally would follow yourself with the rule and be like, let's give it a week. Let's see how they come into form. But I was just looking at this guy do absolutely everything in a tough loss in their first loss of the year, which hurt for Carlton. But me, some unfamiliar territory as well. Devastated, but I'm going to take you through my dud of the round.
Are you going to give it to yourself or?
No, well, I didn't do that bad. Come on, mate. But I'm going to give it to a combination of players. There was some shocking performers on the weekend, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. Tim English, stinky. Bont, even worse. Tom Green, not looking like himself. Jack Sinclair, barely cracked 90 points. Luke Jackson only gets to 82 as a starting ruck, and Jordan Dawson had 74. There were too many duds for one round for me to pinpoint one, and I'm sure there were even more that I didn't touch on, but it was just like one of those rounds where I was looking at the fantasy scores and having to like scratch my eyes and being like, are these guys actually putting up these scores, or is there a glitch in the stats system? But after watching them live, confirmation, they all just played like steam. They were all ass this week.
I didn't know who you're going to go this week. I thought Tim English, and I think it's a bit of a cop-out. You've grouped like five together. I wanted to see you throw Tim English in there. 2 weeks he's disappointed you in the row. I reckon he should have been there. But I was surprised. I didn't hear Clayton Oliver. I don't think a lot of people played him, but damn. Damn, if you did, you're nowhere near the leaderboard. So, fair enough. I reckon next time go harder with Tim English. He needed a bit of a rocket. We needed to bring back the hot seat. We needed to put Timmy on there because I like playing Timmy. I've got a platinum of him. So when he's up and about, it's good for my squad. But it's also good to see you have to maybe think about not playing him this week. We'll touch on that a bit later.
Yeah, well, look, there's a little bit more about Tim English later on the show. So I didn't want to give it all now. I'll wait up for that. But, mate, why don't you go in? Do you have a player designation that you picked for this round?
I did. I have the "you're just doing enough to not be dropped" based on form award. And this week I'm giving it to Harry Mackay. So last 2 weeks he's gone 90 and 82 as a forward. So it's not quite droppable, but I got Healy's all going to come back in. But where do you go? Do you go Bradley Hill 175 on the weekend? That popped out of nowhere. Taylor Adams, Brett Daniels, Liam Baker. A lot of these people that are just on the fringes at about that score. But Harry, obviously, if he's got the matchup, he goes quite well. And he's still always going to get up the ground and take marks. So lots of people in the same tier, but I'm not going to drop him based on form, but we'll see. Maybe I'll talk about him a little bit later on as well. Who'd you go with? What was your award this week?
I'm giving out the I'm Still Him award, and this is going to go out to none other than Max Gawn. Throughout the first chunk of this season, Gawn has had the highest average out of all rucks at 138.8 fantasy score, which, as you mentioned with Sheezel before, I think that is absurd with the ruckman we have at the moment. If you take out the first week against Grundy that Gawn had in that matchup, we're looking at more like 145 average fantasy points per game, stock standard as a bronze. Max Gawn was definitely the best ruckman in the competition some years ago, but he's making his mark this year for me. He's still showing that it doesn't matter about age. He's like a fine wine. He's coming out there and dominating some of the other rucks in the competition. So I'm still him to Maxi Gawn. That's my player designation.
I love it. I love it. And this week we're not going to have to roll with him because he has the bye, of course. But yeah, we did speak about this on our last published show with Hef, where we spoke about the ruckman, their age bracket being a little bit later, and they don't peak at 27. They tend to peak closer to 30. Should probably call out last week's show. We did actually record it, but we just had a few coming back from Gather Round. We had a few technical issues. The quality just wasn't good enough to post. So apologies, we did not get the show out last week. If you want someone to blame Tom. You can't blame me this week. I'm feeling too good. Don't bring me down. So, yeah.
Fair enough. But Cal, what we do from here is go into our transfer market segment, and I just might take it away this week with someone that I've been keeping an eye on.
Do it. You need all the help you can get, mate. Go on. Up you go.
Help you can get, he reckons. Isn't this the segment that you keep copying my players? But anyway, well, he's up.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see if this person's in your lineup.
I'm still waiting for my Errol Goulden receipts. So when you claim that I said he was better than Butters, I want to see it. I still haven't found the video. So you still haven't found the video, I should say. But
yes. But over the past 3 weeks, this player's averaging 113 fantasy points per game, and he's doing this with some increased CBAs, midfield minutes over this stretch. I'm talking about Jai Caldwell from the Essendon Bombers, and if he can maintain his midfield role, Jai Caldwell is a must-target player for the upcoming rounds, especially this week, in my opinion. Cal, you touched on some of the forwards before in Liam Baker. Let's chuck Shai Bolton into that. Richmond have a bye this week, so that's 2 really good forward options that you can't be looking at from those squads. So you might be needing to look at a player like Jai Caldwell to place into your forward line for this week and for weeks upcoming. As I mentioned, 113 fantasy point average per game, and if he can maintain those CBAs, which have been increasing every single week since the start of this season, there's no reason that you can't roll Jai Caldwell in. And I think it's an interesting because people early this year thought Archie Perkins was going to be that guy, and it's going to be like, hey, Archie Perkins will be that forward from Essendon who will slot into your forward lines and help you out. I think Jai Caldwell's just grabbed that roll off Perkins and said, give it to me, I'm going to do it even better. So that's why he's my transfer target for this week. And Cal, I'll throw it over to you. Who do you have for this week, mate?
First of all, great pick. He's definitely improving. We like to see that bit of form. He's trending in the right way. I only have a bronze of him, so that'll do for now. But, great one. I might follow your advice here and give you some credit if I pick up a silver.
Shocker.
Transfer market. So last week's show, I think, didn't get published, but I was all on Harley Reid. I was talking about I want to get this guy. I'm still on the Harley Reid hunt. His gold and platinums were both $10, so I just wanted to carry that one over from last week. So buy. It's time to start putting some more salary cap on Maxi Gawn. So I've been deploying a bronze of him pretty much all season, and I have a gold and a bronze, but I want to have a silver and platinum for that flexibility, particularly as we start coming up to the buys. And you'd be crazy not to be putting something like the platinum on him if you have him at the moment, just from the advantage you get on that. So he is someone I'm targeting at the moment. Don't need to go on about him. You said how good it was. I thought about who I'm selling this week. And it's absolutely no one. How could I sell anyone? A single person in my squad after such a galvanising win against you. The boys are up and about. We're going to keep the momentum going. We go again next round. We're going to be back at 2-5, 2-4, whatever we're up to. The whole club, the whole squad, we're staying together. We stay as one.
You know, you did finish 43rd overall. You're talking up like you finished number 1 last week.
Paddy Cribs, baby.
The perfect
Paddy
squad,
Cribs.
he reckons. All right, I'll be Luke Ryan this week.
I'm feeling good.
I've
I've beaten you. We're feeling good. I've beaten you. My Thunder in the NBA have got the number 1 seed. I can't win. I can't lose. I ain't got no worries. Isn't that what LeBron says?
It is. It is what LeBron James would say.
LeBron James. What do we got next?
Right,
we're going to get into the matchup matrix. Yeah, you want me to kick it off?
What are you looking at this week? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking at a lot. Number 1. Is this the week we drop Timmy English? The Saints are the single hardest matchups for Ruckman in the competition. Now, I put him on alert before, but Marshall, do you play him because you know that English is going to eat against him? Yes, I'm going to be playing Marshall. Gaunt's got the bye. So what do? I had to play Sherry last week. I listened to my own advice and didn't play Marshall. That was a mistake. So there's a big question this week. And I tell you what, English is so lucky that Gawn has the bye, because if it wasn't for him, it'd be a no-brainer he's dropped. But like I said, Does anyone look at the matchups and do the call? It's a bold call to make, but I'm putting it on the radar. # get gangs under control. Number 2. Harry Mackay.
Just for context, for everyone. Sorry. Yeah. Cal last week in our corrupted recording told everyone that Rowan Marshall was a must bench for this week because the Giants at the time had the hardest matchup of the Rucks. And then I remember watching that game thinking, oh, goodness gracious, this guy can't be stopped.
Callum is not the Ruckman whisperer. Maybe I am.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I am.
Get into number 2. Sorry to cut you off.
Harry Mackay, he comes up against the second hardest defence for key forwards. I spoke about him just doing enough every week, but I'm dropping him. He's not playing this week. I told you he's undroppable based on form. This is not a form decision. This is a matchup decision. So he's likely to come back in for the Geelong game for me in 2 weeks. But for me, this week, no. I'm curious to see if other people are scared of what the big orange team are doing. And number 1, I thought I'd give you something because I know you're probably feeling down. You've thought, hey, Boston's the number 1 seed all year. Now I'm on the same level with you. Doesn't mean anything that Boston were the best. Now I'm here. I've also beaten you this week. I could go on and on. So I'll give you something to make you feel happy on this Monday morning. The Sydney Mids to eat against the Hawks. Absolutely eat. This is the week you deploy everything you can on Goulden. But do you make a brave call and go for one of the other boys as well? Like a Warner, a Rowbottom, something like that. Because Hawthorn have just been letting anyone who plays against them in the middle just eat points. So, yes, I'm all in on Goulden this week, and I think everyone is too. But does Warner pop up and kick 3 goals? And all of a sudden you look at that and go, damn, it's the game where you play 2. So I'm curious to hear what you think on that one, but it is definitely a Swans eating the Hawks week.
Yummy. You know, I want to hear that. Errol Goulden All-Stars just waiting to
Coming
be
off
deployed
a bye
again. Yeah, he's nice and fresh. He's ready to go. But I think it's a good shout. I'm not sure who would be the second mid. I know you threw a couple names in there. Warner, Rowbottom. I know you love
I think Warner because of the
Rowbottoms.
goals. I love Rowbottom, but he's such a great defensive player. I think the ball is just going to be so free-flowing against the Hawks. It's a Warner game.
Yeah.
For me, it's a one of Goulden or Warner. It's the type of them to pop up with 2-3 goals, kind of like Rosie against Essendon, where you get 38 touches and hit the scoreboard. I don't think that's a Rowbottom game. But, man, I tell you what, once you start getting the other boys back in, Parker, if he was once here, Mills, man, yeah, your midfield's going to be stacked. So those boys are playing for their jobs right now because it's about to get heavy in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely, mate. There's your matchup matrix for this week. Keep an eye on some of those line groups and some of those matchups because they'll be the difference when you're setting your squad for the upcoming round. But now it's time to go to school. Professor Tom is coming back. And all right, everyone, We're back. And look, we were on cloud 9 to start the season, all right? I was 5-0 against Cal. No one could knock me off my pedestal, but it's that point of the semester where it's time to lock in. There's no more mucking about. If you want to be serious about winning, it's a season-long grind, and it only gets harder from here. Let me guarantee you that. And my highlight player for this round, Cal, is the person I said I would touch on later on in this show. It's going to be Timothy English.
Ooh,
English
the
gang.
leader of English gang. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Yes. Tim English, the GOAT. The greatest to ever do it. The greatest to ever lace up them boots. But in 2024, this hasn't been the start to the year that coaches would expected from the animal. At the current average of 108 fantasy points, it just won't cut it in the big leagues. Let's go through the season so far and break down Tim English's report card. And we're going to start off where we normally start with skills, and I give it an A. I don't think he's been doing that much bad with the ball. And when he gets involved, he looks good. I think it's just the quantity of getting involved currently. The fitness is a B because, years prior, I just felt like English would run rings around some ruck. And this year, it just doesn't seem to be the case. He seems he's getting matched up quite easily with some, what I would think, be easier matchups on the field. Disappointment. Now, this is going to hurt my soul, but it's an A. Tim English has been disappointing. If you've been deploying a Tim English every week, you at least expect 130 from him, and having an average of 108 is just not it.
Not it.
The desire and want for fantasy points from Tim English this year is a C+. It just hasn't been good enough from the big fella. He's been like that real close to getting some scores, but just not getting his hands on the footy enough. His fantasy floor is a C- because 108 as a ruck, Cherry's got a better score, then Curvis has got a better score, Marshall, gone.
That must
we can go on. There's so many rucks that have a
Where's
better
my
average
Marshall
right
Bob?
now. Marshall
Bob in the back of the
thing
class
was
is getting loud. They are annoying the teacher. I love it. I love it. If you're in Marshall Bob, hit us below. Let us know in the comments. Get loud with me. Get loud with me. Let's upset the professor.
Get loud. But just because you won doesn't mean you can interrupt my class. All right, we've made that very clear throughout this year. I get it. You won, but let me cook because we've only got a couple points left, Cal, and these are important. The fantasy ceiling is an A++. There is no denying that if Tim English can get this thing going, he would easily be the best ruck in the AFL, in the competition, in GameDay Squad. I have no doubt about that. His GOAT status is still an A+, because it's Tim English. English gang. The man. Where are my fantasy points at? That is an A+ as well. Tim, where? Where are all these fantasy points at? Where's this 133.8 average from 2023? That's what I want to know. And I need you to get back to me soon because I'm holding down this fort, but these gates are getting tight. These people are pushing hard against me. And Bevo ruining the Dogs again is a solid A from me. Bevo, I just watch you sometimes and just what you're doing with this team. I just don't understand. I don't understand what you're doing. It just annoys me to see the Dogs play sometimes because they'll go out and they'll get a really tough win in gather round and then they'll come out like they did this week. And
they lost gather round. Lost?
Oh, they did. They
Cats,
just
remember?
lost. Sorry, you're right. They did. Well, they looked like they had it in the bag at a point and then again on the weekend. What are they doing?
The way you're talking up English before the game, you thought he'd have a win. No, I like it. I like it. It's I got a couple of notes from the class I wouldn't mind sharing. First of all, teacher's pet. I thought you were a bit kind with some of those grades. Yeah, that's what I've written down. And a question for the professor. I want to put you on the spot from here, from this point. Forget the first 5 weeks. Give me your seasonal ruck rankings, top 5. Go.
Tim English,
for the rest of the season.
1.
You're
English
still putting him number 1.
2.
No, I'm not talking upside. I'm talking about who will score the most. You are still playing English. You still think he's going to finish number 1 from here. Okay. Go. Gone 2.
Do you have hearing problems, mate? I've said this very clearly. I'm being straight up. English, number 1.
Oh, it's not hearing problems. I'm just not listening.
Rowan,
I don't listen to people below
3.
me.
Nan. Well, that's funny because I would be above you in the seasonal, so you better...
Weekly is all that matters here in GameDay Squad. Weekly is all that matters.
until we get to the end of the year. We'll see how you think about that. But yeah, I think that's my 5. English, Gawn, Marshall, Nan.
You said Nankervis or Cherry? Yeah.
And Pro Cherry at 5, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
honestly, as I mentioned, potential and fantasy score, I honestly think Tim English is okay. He's had a horrible start, yes, but players do this sometimes. Players will come out, they won't look themselves, but as long as he can get it going, he has no competition for his spot. He has no worries about ever losing his role. He doesn't need to have those little minor.
Well, I don't know, man.
Things that may
Rory Lobb
influence
might make
him.
another TikTok. He might get upset. He might. You never know.
That's true. I just hope Tim English doesn't join that.
I want to go big brain here. I reckon. Is he on the way out? Like, so we hear so many people are just sick of Bevo in that midfield. Talk about Bailey Smith leaving. We know Dunkley left and has cited it under the radar. Tim English, he's a Perth boy. Does he just want to get back over there? I heard a thing about Tim English going to Freo, and just the idea of Luke Jackson, who I think is the most athletic player in the comp, going against with English, who's easily still the best skilled big man in the comp, like as a ruck. That'd be scary. But I'd also love to see Tim English save West Coast. I'm all for it. Is he already mentally there? Has he checked out? Bags packed. He's ready to go. We'll see.
Could be.
We'll see.
Imagine that. Oh, that would be like some of the hottest property. You mentioned with the years. Tim English is only 26 as a ruck. And he's already this good. Like, if a team was to pick him up like a West Coast, like a Freo, with the young cores that both of them have, you could just see them potentially Tim English taking them to the next level, especially with another good drafting year or two as well.
Well, Sean Darcy is a Victorian. Is there a swap?
Is there a trade? There's a little cheeky swap.
Anyway, stay tuned.
Some
We
food
don't
for
have any
thought.
insight on
Some
that, but
food for
stay
thought.
tuned. Yeah.
No, Cal has insight. His matchup matrix. He can get inside all the clubs. He hears all the noise, and he will inform you once he gets clarification that something is on. He's essentially the Woj of GameDay Squad. So make sure you're checking in every week. You're tuning in because he might have some hot press to drop soon.
Yeah, geez, big praise. I like to think of myself more as Sam Presti, just connected with everyone, under the radar, working in silence.
But Cal, that's going to do us for this week because we don't have a debate question. We've missed out on a couple of rounds. But what I want you to do, if you're still here and watching, submit one down below in the comments because, as I mentioned earlier this year, if you do submit a debate question or a topic for us to go at, I have a pack that I will send you for doing so. So make sure you leave a comment. And while you're down there, leave a like on the video. We appreciate it very much. Cal, mate, massive week for the peanut
I'll throw you one
butters.
question. Massive week. And I'll throw a question. It's not a debate question, but maybe just a question I'll put out there. Will Tom ever win again? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I want to see what other people think. But yes, a huge win for the peanut butters. We've got to back it up though. Got to go again. I got to feel this good every Monday, so I'm looking forward to that.
You're almost like you're just out of your mind this week. Your race, I can tell your head's going everywhere, but I will humble you very, very shortly. Don't you worry about that. We will be there for the live show on Thursday. So if you're around,
We will.
make sure you're there.
A delayed show delayed show next week. I'm off Monday, so we'll be recording Tuesday. So this might be a day later than normal. But yeah, can't wait to reveal the winning squad Thursday night. Hope to see you all there. Let's go get it.
See you, everybody.